Happy Monday evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to Sunshine State Racing Weekly Recap Show, week number 12. I am Jake Wilson, along with Miss Jennifer Brinson and Mr. Robert Howell. Jennifer, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. I'm finally thawed out from Citrus Saturday night. How are you, Jake?
You and me, but I went to East Bay Saturday night. I had a blast, but I was not thinking ahead. I didn't think it was going to be that chilly. I mean, Brandon is probably yelling at us back in our ear here because he was a lot colder than we were, but it was plenty cold. Robert, how about you? How was your weekend, buddy?
I had a great weekend. 417 Southern Speedway was nice. I didn't even put my hoodie on until after the races. It got a little cool, but I managed to survive. But I'm excited. I don't know how you guys are, but one of our Florida racers made it on the Fox News NASCAR pre-race show with the Put It Out. How much, I mean, last week, the week before, we had Citrus on there with the car in the pace car. This week, Jason Lester makes it. What else is exciting? Who else is going to be next to make it on Put It Out for Florida racing?
Yeah, I think Put It Out is easily becoming one of my favorite segments every week of the Fox pre-race. And I had a feeling with the type of videos that they had been posting, it was a time before our buddy Jason Lester video got put on there. And I think it wasn't even like 2 minutes after the media was blowing about it.
Yeah,
It's kind
he,
of
he was
crazy.
on the Put It Out segment, and I mean, unfortunately, Florida Racing is making the Weber Valley Facebook page a lot more than we would like lately. But Jason Lester and Citrus County making Put It Out, put Florida Racing on the map for all the United States on NASCAR race day on Fox. What else could you ask for?
Yeah, Jennifer, that looked that was a lot. It was it's cool that Jason's such a good sport about it, and he was having some fun with it, going back and forth with some people too. So that was really cool. But it was an exciting weekend. We've had a lose already since the weekend has ended. Announcement earlier today that Brooks Store is going to be a part of the Kulwicki driver development program there for the scholarships. So 7 drivers from all ages, all over the country, all different types of racing backgrounds. They get $7,777 to start with to go with to help their race team out, and they're going to be competing against each other all year in their own kind of separate points battle, and the winner at the end of the year is going to get over $50,000. So that's got it for Brooke and her team.
That's huge for a small race team. So congratulations to her. We always cheer on our Florida teams. So good luck to them, and hopefully we see them succeeding in the end.
At $7,777, I think 77 cents. Then the winner gets 54,000, and whatever that number times 7 ends up. They get almost $55,000 to put towards your race team. What an awesome group, and they help develop 7 young people. And to say young, I think Brooks Store is probably the oldest one of the group.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's been amazing though. But if you go and you look back at what that Kulwicki driver development program has done there's been a lot of big name drivers that have gone through that and have really used their time and their exposure through that to really propel them to that next level. We know how good Brooke has been lately with the Wheelman series. She's already saying she's wanting to run some super races, maybe some pro late model stuff coming up this year. So that money's going to definitely help her out. And, I think it's going to be key to her to try to branch out and try to run more because I think with some of those other drivers, they might run a little bit more than she does. So I think her adding on to her schedule just outside of the sportsman, I think is really going to help her.
Absolutely. Jumping into some comments real quick. We got Teddy Nelson on, Quentin Blundell. Hey, huge thanks to Quentin for running down to 417 Saturday night, handling coverage while I was up at Citrus, helping with the Florida Pro Truck Challenge Series. He did such a great job. I came home Saturday night, got to rewatch the modified race and sprint race and the A mods. So super excited. Charlie Bailey's on. Dennis, our buddy, takes awesome photos and keeps everyone updated who's racing where. SRQ Racing, heartbreaker for the Nelson bunch. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but huge heartbreak for Teddy and Dalton and that whole crew. Rick Chapman's on. I got to visit with him a little bit. Jason's on. I'm not repeating what he's saying.
Classic.
Right. And Mark Kimmick's on. Troy DeCare. How about that? TJ DeCare. We'll get into that in a little bit. Joe Gentry's tuned in. Huge thanks to our track owners for always supporting Team SSR. We appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in every week, tolerating us at the tracks, and allowing us to bug you as much as possible.
And a huge shout out to Cameron Ray and the crew at Citrus County Speedway that allowed us to go live there this weekend for the Florida Pro Truck Challenge Series, and we were able to step in when other people didn't meet the commitments. And huge thank you to Cameron for letting us do that.
Absolutely. We had a great time watching the Florida Pro Truck Challenge Series, and we'll get into it in a little bit, but man, we had a blast up at Citrus Saturday night. Wish the weather would have been a little bit warmer, but other than that, had a good time.
There was good racing all around. I mean, I made the trip up to East Bay. They had the Top Gun sprints were in action. They had the 604 late models running, and they had the Gaggles Open Wheel Modifieds. I mean, it was a huge night. They had 7 classes running. It was a bit of a late night there. Some of the features took forever because they just could not get a green flag run going to save their lives. I think the Mod Lights race was a 15-lap race. I think it had like 10 cautions in it. So it kind of took a little while to get going. But the sprint car race was awesome. They had a good turnout with that. The late models, same thing. And I'm really looking forward to trying to get back up to East Bay a little bit more often since it's right up the road from me. But we'll go through some of the results that we had for the weekend here in just a bit. But I think we teased it last week. We've got everybody starting to join on. We want to talk about what we've got coming up. We are going to be on the road this weekend, back with another live broadcast. We're going to be down at 417. I'm excited. I when they run Twin 50 anything, because I think it's just old school, and especially that they get to do it with super late models, and models have had a couple of weeks off here. So I'm hoping that with some guys having some time off, we could see a pretty solid car count coming up this Saturday night down at 417 Southern Speedway. But we've been working behind the scenes, and people that are helping us out are going to be days. Looks like hopefully this weekend. Our Sunshine State Racing T-shirts are now going to be available. People asking us, how can we help you guys? How can we support you guys? If you want to help us out, T-shirts, wear it to the racetrack. Pictures on your social media. We're going to maybe look into maybe doing some contests down the road with some people, wearing our shirts at the track. We're hoping to have them for sale this Saturday down at 17. We're going to work on doing some like pre-order and delivery stuff, potentially road, but for right now, just sell them at the racetrack. So whenever we're going, hopefully we're doing some of these live broadcasts. So, they're pretty cool looking T-shirts. But it looks like it's going to come down right to the deadline this weekend. But it's going to be awesome. So you guys have a little bit more of the details on that.
Yeah, Jake,
we're going to work on.
Jake's breaking up pretty bad, but
internet.
I think Brandon's going to have here in a minute. We'll be able to put up. We have gray and black T-shirts coming. Sunshine State Racing. Everybody's been asking how they can help support us. We're going to have these available. We're hoping by this weekend it's going to be close to the deadline, and we'll get them by Friday. But we're planning to have them at 417 Southern Speedway. They're $20 for a T-shirt. Be sure and see us. All the proceeds go back into buying more T-shirts and helping us be able to push along what we're doing with everybody, all the broadcasts and everything. We're going to hopefully have them this weekend, and can't wait to get everybody. And of course, out of those T-shirts, we're going to be doing some giveaways and raffles and a lot of fun things with those shirts. And thank everybody for the support. Stickers we got, I'm going to send a message tomorrow, see if we can get some more stickers. I think Jen went through everything she had last weekend. I still have a few left. We'll have 417 Southern Speedway this weekend. But just thank you all for the support. And we're doing great things to try to put Florida racing on the map.
I had a good time last week.
Yeah, go ahead, Jen. Yeah,
we got you back, Jake. I'm a little bit
Sorry,
excited.
My internet's not doing very good tonight.
That's okay. There's quite a few of us, and I like it when all of us are at different tracks, but it's a heck of a lot of fun when all of us are at the same track like we're planning to be here, this coming weekend at 417. It's going to be a great show. Little Gator Legend Cars, they're back at 417 for the first time in I think a year and a half, 2 years, somewhere around there. They always bring a great car count, and it should be a lot of fun.
There's some people asking online if the shirts will be available online if they can't make it to 417 Southern Speedway. There, we have 100 shirts coming for hopefully this weekend, if not for the first order. And I know there's a lot of demand at the tracks for those shirts, but yeah, the answer is ultimately yes, they will be available online. You may have to wait till the second run of these shirts because I don't know how fast they're going to go this weekend. But stay tuned to Sunshine State Racing. If we don't sell out this weekend, they will be available online on Sunday or Monday. If they do, we will place the second order on Monday morning and have them within a week or two. But yes, the shirts will be available for anybody that can't make it before 17 this weekend.
I know we were kind of going back and forth on whether we were just going to do one color or if we were going to have the option there. So I can't wait to see them in person. But most importantly, I can't wait to see our fans that are going to be sporting these shirts. Our drivers will hopefully be sporting these shirts. We love sporting their shirts, so hopefully we can they can help us out as well. So. We've got a guest coming up in a little bit who has had I can't wait to talk to him because you want to talk about a true racers week. I think that's exactly what you're going to get with our conversation coming up a little bit later on. We want to talk about some of the great races that we got to see over the weekend. I mentioned earlier I got to see the Top Gun Sprints were in action. Brandon Grubaugh got the win for the Top Gun Sprints, his first win of the year, and it was exciting because it came down to it at the end. Well, the track, first of all, there was not a whole lot of dirt left on that track. I mean, those drivers were ripping through tires. There were several drivers that had flat tires late in the race, and it really changed the complexion of the race. But with like 2 laps to go, coming to the white flag, Danny Martin Jr. makes the pass and gets by Grubaugh, but before they can get back to the line to see the white flag, a caution came out. So they went back to the previous lap, and that's what got Grubaugh back the lead because he even said it in an interview we posted up on the page on Saturday night. He's like, I lost the race. He got by me. Thankfully, he was able to benefit from that caution green finish, and he got a great restart, and he was able to hold him off. It was Danny Webster had a bit of an up and down night, bounce back to finish in third. Tyler Clem ran double duty. He ran in the modifieds as well. Got a second place in the modifieds, finishing fourth in the sprint cars. And then it was Harley Zimmerman who rounded out the top 5 for the Top Gun Sprints. That series is a lot of fun. They're going to be going to Putnam next. So that's going to be really cool to see how many of the guys make the trip up there to the northeast part of Florida. And driver we're going to have on later here, Shan Smith, knows an awful lot about Putnam because he was able to get the win there in the late models a couple weeks ago. How about, Jennifer, you were up there at Citrus. Talk about that Pro Truck race and the great races that you saw over the weekend at Citrus.
Jimmy Frazier did a great job. He put it on pole for the Pro Truck feature, but during the race, after the invert, Derek Pugh was the man beat. He walked away with that. Becca Monopoly was second. Jimmy Frazier ended up third. Brendan Pletcher fourth. Chase King fifth. Some of the names that we see, like Sammy Coggill, you see him a lot in the pure stocks. You don't really see him racing trucks. This is his second truck race, I believe. He raced New Smyrna for Speed Weeks, and then he came over to Citrus for his Saturday night show, and he ended up with a 6th place finish. Bray Holmes was 7th. Kristen Clements, Jeffrey White, Donnie Burkhalter ended up 10th. There was 20 trucks. It was a really good show. But I have to tell you, the one that made me freeze the most was the Ford Outlaw feature. 30 cars started that race, and Thomas Pete and Neil Byrne took home the first 2. It was absolutely insane. That race had me laughing so hard, I don't even think I commentated during the whole thing. I was just laughing.
Yeah, they've been delivering some incredible car counts with that Outlaw Ford division up there at Citrus, and it just continues to, it's just growing and growing. It's getting better and better. Robert, we had the BG Product Southern Sprint Car Shootout Series was down south there at 417, and the guy that went to Victory Lane, he's no stranger to Victory Lane, but I have to say the coolest thing I saw all weekend was that awesome new wrap and that awesome new paint scheme they had on Troy DeCare's number 36, that old school throwback Senna paint scheme look to it, like the old Marlboro cars, the Penske cars, and the F1 look, the old McLarens. That looked like that was a heck of a race down there, and looked like Joe and Janet had a really good turnout down there at 417 again.
Yeah, there was a really good fan turnout, and a heck of a race as always by Troy DeCare. I knew they had the new car and the new paint scheme, but to be completely honest, I didn't know what the paint scheme represented or stood for until Troy made the post on Sunday. If you're like the rest of us and didn't know what it meant or what it stood for, go to Karnac.com and we have a story on it. I copied and pasted Troy's explanation of why they went with that paint scheme. But man, he got there. I got there about 4:45. I'm standing in line to get in the pit gate, and I look up, and here comes Troy DeCare pulling in behind me, jumping out of his truck, trying to hurry up and get in. And I let him go ahead of me, and he's like, I got to hurry up and get in there. They're calling for last practice for sprint cars. I got to get a round of practice in. A brand new car. He gets one round of practice, goes out, places, I think, second in the heat, and then he laps the entire field in the race except for second place. He was fighting for that one. He almost lapped the entire field in the 40-lap race. What a race by Troy DeCare at 417 Southern Speedway. That night also Mickey Kimpkins was second, and Tommy Nichols finished third. And then we had the open wheel modifieds, which was the first time they'd been back at 417 Southern Speedway in about a year and a half. Last year they didn't have them on there. The year before that they struggled with car count. LB Skaggs set the fast time, almost set the track record. And then the winner was Dodge Cowboy, got his first win in the open wheel modified. I've never seen anybody so happy in the car after the race as he was. He was out on the steering wheel with excitement. But second was Troy Robinson, and then Brandon Baker got third. But Troy Robinson, just shout out to him and the never give up attitude. I think since end of last year, they've been through 5 or 6 motors that never even made a race. They blew up in practice. And he's been in the pits and changed the motor, and then the next day at practice, they blew up again, and he just went home. But he never gave up, and they came out, and he got a strong second-place finish on Saturday night. It was great for that team to see the win. The mini stocks was won by Steve Darling, Jacob Wallace, the third, and J.B. Murda, the top 3. Thunder Trucks was Patrick Hutchison, Skylar Knoll, and Charlie Turner. And then A Modifieds, the winner was Tommy Schrader, Scott Clymer, and Brian Yoakum. And to have the it was almost like open wheel madness night there. Just a great night. Open wheel modifieds. A mods was the street tires, the slicks on the open wheels. Great night all around, and the crowd had a good time. And I've never seen a place where I just never paid attention before. But if you go to 417 Southern Speedway, I suggest you do the 50-50. Once again, Saturday night, the winning half of the 50-50, I think, was $740.
Yeah. That'll buy you. That'll take care of your tab at Waffle House, I think.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we had some great races. Auburndale had their 50-lapper for the pure stocks that James Wright took home the checker flag in that one. We've got our recoil racing video clip of the day coming up later on. That one is also going to come from Auburndale, from our Little Gator Legends. That was a bit of a wild race for several drivers, and you'll see exactly why coming up with our recoil racing video clip of the day coming up. But we have got our guest, Shan Smith, is going to be joining us here in just a few minutes. So I think it's time to step aside, take our first caution of the night, and we come back. We are going to be joined who has logged miles over the last 10 days, not only here in the state of Florida, but making the trip to the Dirt Car National there. So we'll take a quick caution, and we'll be back here with the Sunshine State Racing Weekly Recap.
24 flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea. HTO keeps you cool. So, what's your flavor?
We are back. I think we're back.
We're back.
Yeah, we are back. We're working on trying to get. Make sure we got Shan up here. Shan's been working at the shop tonight, like many of our drivers are. Whenever we're trying to talk to him here on Monday night, so we'll dial up Shan here. Shan Smith had he's had a busy few weeks here, and it's got to be pretty cool as a racer to run down here in Florida and to get the opportunity to go up and run at a place like Bristol. I tried to tune in as much as I could. I mean, they were starting races at like 9. I saw like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning because they were so busy. They had so many cars. They had so many heats and everything to get through. And just all the coverage and everything that we kept seeing was really, really cool. So we want to welcome to the show driver Shan Smith. He got the win up at Putnam a couple weeks ago for the resurrection for the big night. Shan, we appreciate you taking some time to come on and talk with us. We see you're busy back there at the shop. We want to start with the win at Putnam. What did it mean to get to go up there, get this crazy week of racing underway with a win, and to reopen a place like Putnam again? Oh, I don't know if Sean was able to hear me. Sean, you just turned on.
Can you hear us?
I don't know if Sean can hear us or if he's got mute. We'll try to see if we can't get his audio corrected here. We'll step away there. We'll get him get him straightened out. But yeah, we want to. It wasn't just Sean that was up there running. They had a lot to do. They had a lot of preparation to get ready there. You saw that his son Brendan had a really good showing up there as well. And something I think we definitely want to talk to Sean about a little bit here is about all of the, because it wasn't just the regular guys that you're going to see running, throughout, the Southeast. You had a lot of NASCAR guys that are really looking to try to get as much dirt experience as they can before the Bristol dirt race coming up. There were guys jumping in modifieds. There were guys in the 604s and the 602 late models. There were guys running up there with the supers as well. So, I mean, it was a who's. I mean that the list of drivers for that event was incredible.
It really was. And then you have to think with the rain, it rained a couple days, and that played a huge factor on A, how the track was going to do, and B, what the schedule was going to be, because it messed up days, nights, who was racing when. It was absolutely insane.
And a lot of kids from Florida, I met his son and a lot of others. Trey Mills, I believe he's from Florida, 12 years old, had a lot of success there in the late models, and they tried to keep up with it the best I can. But like you said, with the rain and everything, they started at 9 o'clock and they ran till 10, 11 o'clock some night. Just a bunch of racing there, so many cars. But what I think was so great that they made sure that whatever they did, whether it was start early or run late, that everybody that came got a chance to race. And it was just amazing to make it all that way, and you have weather, and it would have been easy for promoters or a group putting on an event like that to say, hey, we're going to have to cut it short. But they did what it takes, make sure everybody got a chance to race, and I give them props for that.
Yeah, and I saw too, I mean, there were some just, I mean, you're flying around there. So, I mean, when you wreck there, you're wrecking big. And there were some guys that had some pretty nasty crashes there. I was glad to see that everybody was able to walk away from some of those incidents. It was pretty cool. I mean, it's something where I don't know if they're going to try to continue to do this, or maybe this is just NASCAR and Bristol trying to do kind of a one-off deal. But I mean, it was incredible. So I mean, you guys are pretty tough to not want to do that again. Especially if you're going to get the kind of turnout that they did, not only from the cars, but I mean, looked like there were some fans that were definitely in the stands that were having a good time. Some of them maybe having a little too good of a time after some of the videos are starting to come out now. But that looked like a lot of fun here. So we're still working on trying to get Sean on here, try to get his audio figured out there, because I mean he's been working hard in the shop there, because they did have a car that got tore up a little bit, so they had to do a bit of work. But I want to talk to them too. It's cool that Putnam had they raced again last week. I figured a lot of the guys would maybe have gone up to Bristol for the week, so maybe their car count was going to be a little bit lower. But they've got the Top Gun sprints coming up there in a couple of weeks, so I think everything's looking pretty good up there, and it seems like the fan base is definitely getting behind them up now.
Yeah, and it's like you said, they had the race. Basically, he won that race on Friday night, and I think by Sunday afternoon they were in Bristol. So just an amazing, and talk about if Bristol will continue. I think a lot of that will have to do with what NASCAR decides to do, because if NASCAR doesn't decide to go there as a dirt race again, I don't see that Bristol alone will pay the money to put the dirt back on the track. But hopefully that they will make it work so they're able to have another NASCAR dirt race there, because I think just doing this for the local guys alone is almost worth the price of admission for a fan, and something that'll help bring stuff to the sport. And I mean, how many people went and watched this local racing that may stick around in town now and come and buy a ticket and watch the NASCAR? Kyle Busch and all those, like you said, NASCAR guys were there trying just to get practice and make the show. What an event they put on.
The text message I just got made me laugh. It says, racing like hockey, get to see boxing. There was lots of animated drivers at Bristol, also at some of our local tracks last weekend. We got to see some clips of that. So I'm not going to call out the person that texted us that, but you made me laugh.
Yeah, that was funny. Well, I think I saw or heard some background noise there, so I think we've got Sean back on again. If we've got Sean back on. Sean, can you hear us this time? You got us?
Yes, I got you now.
All right, cool. We appreciate you guys coming on. I was asking you earlier, tell us before we dive into Bristol, we wanted to have you on because you won the resurrection race up there at Putnam County. And how special was it to get to go up there and reopen that place and be the first person to go to Victory Lane there in the late models?
It was really cool. It's been probably 9 years since I ran a race there, and actually won my last race that I ran there before it closed up. And it's really a nice facility, and it's a shame that it's stayed closed for as many years as it has. But I mean, for a Friday night dig, they had a ton of people in the grandstand, so that was cool to see. Even the couple weeks before that open practice, I had never seen that many people there in the grandstands ever, and that was just a practice night. So they got a lot of hype behind them, and that's pretty cool for a racetrack to come back to life that's been out for a while. And they they have some issues they're working through, but seems they're listening to the right people, trying to get their surface figured out. And, having the Florida late models there on opening night surely didn't hurt things, I don't think.
And can you introduce us to the person sitting with you?
I think everybody knows him. That's the new show, Brendan Smith, my son here. He's the star of this place around here.
That's what we hear. So let's talk a little bit about y'all's week at Bristol. I mean, did Brendan outdo you the whole week?
No, we run in 2 separate classes. So we ran Putnam on Friday night and left Putnam. Luckily, I drive for Billy Sullivan, so we took Billy Sullivan's car to Putnam and ran. Came home, got home at like 4:30 Saturday morning. Got up at 8, unloaded Billy's car, loaded in Brendan's car, and we left out for Bristol about noon. Got there Sunday morning, 1 o'clock, somewhere in that 1:30, and I was the guinea pig for the first session, the way they did practice up there on Sunday. And we had a bunch of stuff we were experimenting with because nobody really knew what we were in for. And I almost tore the fence down the first lap. So we quickly took all of that stuff off. And by the time Brendan went out for the second session, we kind of had a game plan on what we needed to do. And he was pretty fast right off the trailer.
It's awesome that you guys, just looking at the video, they had so many cars there that you really didn't even pit in the infield, I don't believe. Your trailers and most of the stuff was outside of actually Bristol, and every morning you had to take what you needed inside, and there were so many cars there that was just the cars in the center of the track, right?
Yeah, it's the largest race that I've ever been to. I've never been that many race cars, that many people. I mean, it reminded me of going to a NASCAR race in the early 90s. I mean, there was that many people on the grounds camping, and just the campgrounds all around the place were full. And no, nobody pitted in the infield. Everything had to be taken in, and the one night we got done, they curfewed at 1 o'clock in the morning, so we had to be in the infield at 7:30 the next morning to start racing, and actually cars were on the track at 9 o'clock. So it made for a long week. I think if they ever do it again, they'll know what they're in for, because I believe they were overwhelmed. They knew they were going to have that many cars. I mean, the modifieds had 180 something cars in the modified division. I mean, the 604 crates were like 140 cars. It's crazy car count. So they kind of knew, but I think they were overwhelmed. So if they ever do it again, I think it'll just be a bigger and better deal. And plus everybody kind of knows what they're in for when they go. And I don't see why they wouldn't do it again. I'm sure with the turnout that they had, I would bet it's going to be a yearly thing for a little while anyhow.
Brendan, a quick question
you guys
for you.
Yeah,
go ahead, Jake.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
Just
take it, Robert. You got
at your young age, and they winning a heat race there to make the big show, and then the speed and just knowing what Bristol means to so many people and NASCAR running there. What was it like to even get to turn laps on a track like Bristol, more or less, win a heat race?
Oh, it was pretty awesome. It was, we went and ran the Sunshine Nationals, and everybody was saying how Bristol's going to be kind of like Volusia, and it compared to nothing I've ever been on. It was a really cool experience to be able to go out there. It's definitely a lot different than anything else. So
I was going to say it would probably have to be kind of a highlight of the week there, getting to win a heat race like that. But can you guys even describe what it was like to see not only the commitment from a local level, from local drivers from all over the East making the trip there, to not only having an opportunity to kind of race with a lot of guys that cut their teeth and are racing more on a national schedule, or to have that compete up there in NASCAR and be able to come down and race with you guys. I mean, you guys, I don't necessarily want to say you guys were starstruck or anything at any point, but it had to be pretty cool to look around you and see the type of drivers that this event brought in and that you guys had an opportunity to compete against them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people hating on, Austin Dillon, that he won the 604 crates. I mean, I ran second to him in one of the qualifying deals, and there's a lot of people hating on him, but we all put our pants on one leg at a time. So those guys just help draw. If it helps draw more people to it, then that's all good. None of that's bad. So I had just as good a chance to outrun him as him outrunning me. So I tried to jump him on a restart, and he just had a little bit more than me, because believe me, I was going to feed him the quarter panel when we got to turn one if I would have got the opportunity. But he drove out of my life before that even was possible. So, we'll learn from that. And, we had a decent week. Brendan won a heat race. I wouldn't even say we had a decent week. We had a above good week with Brendan winning a heat race. I won a heat race. And, fortunately, Brendan got tore up pretty bad in the A main and on Friday night. So we're licking our wounds from that, as you can see in the background back there. But, I ended up third in the 604 feature. So I think we showed that we belonged up there, and it's just totally different. I mean, it's until you race there, like we ran at big racetracks and stuff, but nothing compares to that. I mean, you're going so fast, and you think this big racetrack, and you're going so fast that it just makes it so narrow. That's why they had catastrophic wrecks. I mean, just no give. Everybody was take. I mean, in practice, they were running over each other. So, and it just, the closing rate of guys that weren't quite up to speed, and you factor that in, and like I said, it just makes it so narrow when you're going that fast. So that's the downside to it, is there's a lot of guys that probably, for the rest of this year, they're probably done because they destroyed some race cars. But, it was definitely a packed house with people.
And we have a fan submission. Justin Holt asked about when you drove your Sprint on the street.
Oh, God.
I need to hear that.
Yeah. You see, the number one racing fan, Justin Holt there, who he wants to bring other stuff. Justin and I have been friends for probably 20-something years. So, yes, I was going to be a sprint car racer, and went to Memphis, Tennessee, and got a sprint car and came back. And my cousin and I, we changed the right rear tire and put the big right rear tire on it and put the wing on it. I mean, as soon as we got home, we drove straight to Memphis, Tennessee, and straight home. We got it out in front of my uncle's house on the road, and he gets in my truck and pushes me off, and it fires off, and I try to take it out and knock it out of gear, and I couldn't get it to go out of gear, so I got to the stop sign at the end of 148th Avenue, and I finally shut it off, and then I figured out how to get it out of gear, and my cousin said, "Let's just stop," and I said, no, I got it now. I know what to do with it. So we backed the fuel out of it, and we pushed it back down the road, and when it left the front bumper of my truck the next time, it was like a top fuel run. I mean, as soon as it fired off, it was wide open. It lasted probably 4 seconds. Wheels in the air, and I immediately shut it off. But with that huge right rear tire, it just went immediately left. And when it slammed down, I hit a mailbox. Somehow the mailbox didn't stab me, the post. It came through the cage beside me, the seat. And I went down in like a ditch or a canal. Went down to the canal, came up the other side of it, hit an oak tree, and then it started flipping. And I'm in there with no seat belts, no helmet on, just holding on for dear life. My cousin thought it killed me, so he comes around there and I climb out and we're like, what in the hell just happened? So he says, we got to get a chain before the cops show up. So he runs back to my uncle's house to get a chain. And in the meantime, now the neighbors are coming out and I'm hurting. My wallet's hurting. My kneecaps are still to this day are both broke. They hit the steering box. And this old man that I took out his mailbox came out of his driveway with his walker. And he comes out and the quote, word for word, what he said was, what is the world of outlaws doing in the ditch? And I've never lived it down till. So then I had to go to Home Depot and buy him a mailbox and put it up. So that was about the extent of my sprint car racing career.
We
Leave
got
it
to
to home.
wrap up here in a minute,
Yeah.
but just
I
say
was
you
laughing
said
at you the whole time.
you said you finished second to Austin Dillon. Well, that's something that hang your head on. You think about it. Some guys from Florida that just go out on the weekends, work in the shop every night after working hard every day, went out and finished second to probably more money than any of us will ever see. That Dillon had to put in that race, and you finished second in the heat race. Nothing to hang your head on, but who do you want to give a shout out to that helped you and your son with the racing? Got any sponsors or anything?
Oh, yeah, we got tons of people. I mean, the guys that help us here in the shop, Rich is in the background there, and Mike and Jesse, you know, my father-in-law, Chuck, and, of course, my wife, Kim. And we got some good people. Billy Sullivan, that I drive the car for in the background here. Mid-Florida Tree Service helps us out with that. Ace Welding. Got to say hi to Craig and Mr. Tommy Scott with Multi-Fire High Performance Spark Plug Wires. They were actually at Bristol and came and saw us. Profab Headers. Want to thank my good friend Ricky Moxley, you know, with Finish Line Site Development. I got his dirt modified in the background over here. When he wants to get dirty, he could go and take a run it. He helps us out. Mike and Kathy with Williams Trucking. They're always good folks to us. And, of course, my mom and dad help us out with a lot of stuff. So there's just a whole group of people. You know, we got lots of product sponsors that help us out. That stuff means just as much as dollars. You know, Daytona 1 helps us out with all kinds of stuff. You know, the guys over there at Race Car Engineering, they're always from back whenever it was checker flag racing, buying stuff from Steve Dorr over there, and they've always been good to me. The guys down at Fire Guardian Protection, Mark and Tommy and Chrissy and Christy and Big John and Larry Hubbard, Velocity RPM down there, and Ken and the guys at KBI. We just have a whole group of guys that and those guys actually went to Fort Myers. From Fort Myers, they went to Bristol. Ken, you know, he made the main 602, finished sixth. Tommy Falbecorn. He had a little bit of bad luck and got the whole right side of his body knocked out while he was in the transfer for the 604. So, you know, we had a bunch of guys from Florida that went up there that had a pretty good showing to never be on any type of racetrack like that. It'd be cool.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Jen.
What are your plans
for?
Yeah, what are your plans for the rest of the season?
We're gonna run the Florida Late Model Series with Billy's car. I finished second by 1 or 2 points every year, it seems like, except for the year that I was hurt and stuff like that. So we're gonna try to run that and fill in whenever we're not running those races and just go try to run any big shows. I mean, Bristol was the first one. We went and ran. It started last year. We were with the Ruderman Memorial. That's when we decided that we just want to go try to run these bigger shows. So we ran the Ruderman Memorial last year, and then we went back for the Sunshine Nationals, and we've traveled to Georgia a couple times this year already to Needmore. And now the Bristol deal was next in line. So I think we're going to hit East Bay this week, probably just to shake down some stuff for the following week, and run the Florida Late Model Race at Alltech. and start gearing up to probably go run the Crate Racing USA race at the Talladega Short Track. That's probably going to be our next road trip.
Well, it sounds like you guys have got a lot of big plans here for the year. We appreciate you guys taking the time to come on and talk with us here tonight. Best of luck going forward. Congratulations on the win up there at Putnam. Hopefully that's what springboards you guys to a good year. And Brennan, it's good having you on. Best of luck to you as well. And I said, I don't think you should be jumping behind the wheel of a sprint car anytime soon, or at least learn from Dad.
No, that's not going to be happening anytime soon.
All right. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you guys coming on tonight, and best of luck going forward, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, awesome. Yep, so that's Shan Smith and Brennan Smith. We appreciate them coming on. Sorry about the audio issues we had there. I'm going to take our next caution, and we've got to talk about some of the big races that are coming up here for next week, and we'll talk about back after this on Sunshine State Racing Weekly Recap.
With 24 flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, HTO keeps you cool. So, what's your flavor?
We are back. It is last segment, and I really appreciate all the fans tuning in. We have that was the best story we've ever heard. My mom is on. Gary Ford's watching. Big G in the house. 417 this weekend. Scott Finch is on. Awesome interview. Gary Ford says, I can't say enough how awesome these commercials are. I agree. If you want your commercial on Sunshine State Racing or any of our big broadcasts, make sure to get in touch with us. We appreciate.
Let me do a shameless plug, Jen.
Go for it.
Well, you said we got a big broadcast coming up this weekend, 417 Southern Speedway. We have plenty of room for these nice commercials that can showcase your business. Message any of the three of us or Brandon Martin. We'll be sure to get whatever you want made just for you and for your business for this Saturday. And we still have plenty of room and plenty of time to get you on board.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to cut to you next, Robert. You want to talk about what's racing this coming up weekend?
Yeah, and you're reading off the Facebook comments, but how cool is it? I just got a text message from a track owner thanking us for the show and how good of a job we do, and for helping support all of Florida racing. So it really means a lot and cool to get the track owners to appreciate what we do. So I just want to give a shout out to that text message we just got. But this weekend, we'll be at 417 Southern Speedway at super late models for twin 50s, Jake's favorite old school twin 50s. Prior, when they've done twin 50s, they've actually done almost a full invert after the break. We'll see what they do this weekend. No guarantee. I'm not quoting that.
I'm
That's what I'm
voting.
talking
And
about.
I'm voting.
and just from the people I've talked to, Vigley's going to be there. Jurkovic is going to be back. Atwell, maybe Dutilli. I think we're going to have 18 to 20 plus cars easy.
That's
there
what I'm
for the
saying.
race.
Like I think it's going to be a really good turnout because like we were super late models were running everywhere. It seemed like every track, every weekend, there was something big going on. And for the first time, it seems like all year, they got to kind of take a little bit of a break and kind of, take a deep breath. And now they can kind of figure out what they want to do. And I think this twin 50s format, I think is really going to suit a lot of drivers. And like you said, I don't think it'd be much of a shock if we have close to 18 to 20 cars this week. So what else is on tap, Robert?
And we got a street stocks for 50 laps, Little Gator Motorsports Legends for 25, TQ Midgets 25, and the Dwarf cars all for 25. And then kind of moving up the coast a little bit, we have a Showtime Speedway as the Clearwater Towing Strictly Stocks, Ford 4.6 Oval Hose and Hydraulic Street Stocks, Non-Wing Sprint O'Brien Mini Stocks, Outlaw Figure 8, Super Mini Late Models, and they're going to have, I think an exhibition from the Tri-City Kart Club. Then over in the center of the state, Arbondale has, due to weather permitting, it's hard to believe we're in March, but I believe this is the first Brandon Ford Wheelman Sportsman Series race of the year. 50 laps, Arbondale with Pro Trucks for 50 laps, Pure Stocks, Modified Mini Stocks, Scramblers, and Mini Cups. Citrus is off this weekend. I believe the fair or something is in town at Citrus County Speedway. And that might actually lead to a new segment we may can debut next week. I won't give too much away. New Smyrna has Pro Late Models, E-Mods, LKQ Super Stocks, Mod Minis, and Bomber Bs. Then we head over to the dirt tracks. Lewiston is off this weekend. They always take off the last weekend of the month. East Bay Raceway Park has 602 late models, street stocks, 4.6 Fords, V8 Warriors, Q Micro Sprints, and Gladiators. All Tech Raceway up in Lake City has the SCDRA, $5,000 to win in support classes. I'm not going to try to even hide it. I don't know what the SCDRA stands for, but if you're and I couldn't find it on their website, but if you're in a dirt racing, you probably know what series that is. North Florida Speedway has a Pure Stocks, E-Mods, late models, and box stock go-karts. And to end the racing weekend is Volusia has the dirt, UMP modifies, 30 laps, 1,500 to win, 602 late model, street stocks, thunder stocks, and the compact fours. And that'll run out your weekend. No matter where you're at in the state of Florida, there's something within probably an hour drive.
And I've got to say, I know we're all going to be at 417 this weekend, but I'm really excited that our Little Gator Legend car drivers are going to get on the big broadcast this weekend because they've been wanting to be on our big broadcast for a while. The drivers are always messaging, the team owners are always messaging, hey, are you going here? Hey, are you going there? So I'm really excited to give them guys some airtime this weekend, see what they do down there at 417. Hopefully get some interviews. I'm going to be there late because I have a baby shower to go to, Ashley. But
We'll
be there.
We'll get a lot of interviews with legend drivers. Even if we don't put them all on the broadcast or we save them to spread them out over the next couple of weeks, the legend drivers and these young kids are the future of our sport. And I just put another story up on Karnac.com. Young TJ DeCare is, following right in his uncle's footsteps. He's got back-to-back wins in the Legends at a Arbondale Speedway. Going to be at 417 for what I believe is probably the first time. I know he was there weekend or the Friday before last getting some practice in, but he's never raced there, and he was fast in practice. Seems to be a natural. I'm just excited to see these young kids and what they can do.
I'm going to go through
Well-
some comments real quick. Lester says, I'm going to 417 to try to beat that 28. Troy DeCare said, filming the TDC Shocks commercial now. Troy DeCare commented to Jason Lester, better worry about that 37. Gary Ford's watching via YouTube and commenting from his phone on Facebook. We appreciate that so much. Roy Healy's on. Brandon Martin says, now that's the commercial I'm looking forward to.
And
So
we got
Gary
away.
Ford, go ahead.
Go ahead to Gary's, and I'll comment.
Gary Ford will be at Volusia with the legend Buzzy Rudiman. Troy DeCare is a huge TJ fan, taking action now on him going for 3 in a row. Lee Keller, way to go, Jim Smith. Excited to watch 417 this weekend. Us too. Joe Winchell's tuned in. Hi, Joe.
Joe was in the back of the short bus I heard over the weekend and went back from Hickory. But I just want to give a shout out as we get ready to go into our recoil video clip of the week. A huge shout out to SRQ Taxes, Stephen Darling, who gives us a lot of support here. We're right in the middle of tax time. I know there's talk about maybe extending the deadline from April 15th into May. Why wait? Give our friends at SRQ Taxes a call and let them get your taxes prepared right away. And if Brandon's got it ready, I think we'll get ready for our racing recoil video of the clip of the week.
That's my little buddy Robert Jonas, and man,
How would you
rough
like to
night
be in
for
that
him.
car and be that little and see that tire coming like straight at you?
Gonna say
Yeah,
tire
jumped-
flying right
I-
at me, not good.
Right,
I jumped here on the computer.
right. Not only are the cars coming at you, but the tire is too. Feel so bad for Robert Jonas. He hasn't had the best luck, but I know that luck's going to turn around. Him and his sister Abigail both race, and huge shout out to our GoPro guys as always for getting the best clips. I know Kyle Trading Paint was at Citrus with me on Saturday. He got tons of videos from the Pro Trucks, the Ford Outlaws, and all that. So keep an eye out on our page because we share these guys and their hard work and all their videos, and they get the best clip.
And I know you gave a huge shout out to Quentin earlier, but just another shout out to Quentin Lundell. I messaged him midweek, Thursday or Friday, when I knew you were going to Citrus to help cover the trucks and said, hey, I'm doing still pictures down at 417. He didn't even think twice, jumped down there, come down, took my phone from the infield, went live for the sprint race and the open wheel modified. I appreciate everything he jumps in last minute and helps us do.
And he was good. He sounded good.
He
Like
did
he'd been doing
great.
it for years. He might be coming from
He was
my
a-
job.
He was a little nervous because he didn't have any hot hands and he said it was getting cold.
Yeah, I can hear. I feel that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this weekend. We love going down to 417, and it's going to be cool because it looks like with some of the first few broadcasts we're going to do down there, it looks like each time we go down there, we're getting to see different types of classes that are going to be running each time. And I think the lineup this week, I think you're going to make everybody happy. You got the twin 50s for the supers. You got a 50-lap street stock race, which should be awesome. I love 417 is such a fun track for the TQ midgets and for the dwarf cars as well. And the legends, I think, are going to put on a really, really good show down there as well.
Well, you're looking at probably, you were naming those classes, counting in my head, 18 to 20 supers, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably 20 to 25 legend cars, if not more. We haven't raced it down in Punta Gorda in a long time. And Citrus is off this weekend, so that guarantees no street stock race. And a lot of those guys, their rules are really close.
Yep.
I think you could have 12 to 15 street stocks easily. It should be a great weekend at 417.
Yep. And you get to watch it all live on our Sunshine State Racing page for free, mind you. But if you're at the racetrack, we are going to have, fingers crossed, we're hopefully going to have our T-shirts with us this weekend. If anybody wants a shirt, come on by and see us. I'm sure we'll be set up. We'll be getting the broadcasts. We're getting everything set up over on the front stretch, but we'll be back in the pits like we always are. And we'll be around, and we'll hopefully It'd be great to, here you go. We're putting them up here. It'd be great to sell them all this weekend. So then we have to get another order put together so that we can start doing some pre-orders and then maybe getting some shipped out. But we're just going to sell them at 417 this week. And we're going to hopefully announce some cool stuff with social media, maybe some contests and things like that going forward to where hopefully we can get you guys, taking pictures at the track with us, wearing the shirt. And we're maybe going to talk with some of the track owners about maybe even possibly giving away some of the shirt. Maybe part of like the 50-50 or something like that. Or maybe like if somebody wins the 50-50, maybe we'll pull a second ticket or a third ticket or something like that and give a couple shirts away as well. So it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Or how cool would it be? They'd have to, could really pre-plan this. I mean, they could, but get your picture taken in Victory Lane with the Sunshine State Racing shirt under your fire suit.
That'd be pretty cool. I'd be down with that. That'd be pretty cool.
And racers,
so the broadcast is going to start.
Sorry,
go ahead,
racers,
Jen.
if you have your stickers on the cars, make sure to send us a picture. We want to see the pictures. We want to post the pictures of your race cars, our stickers. We appreciate all the support.
I was going to say, so the broadcast is going to start at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. You're going to want to be tuned in live on Facebook. Be sure to tell everybody if they can't make it in person or if you're at another track and you want to tune in. We're going to be going live at 7 o'clock. It's going to be an awesome night. Twin 50s for the late models. I love it. It's old school. I love it. I was just thinking the other day, I had some old school Florida videos from Bob. Watching some of my cousins' races back at DeSoto when they would run either like a twin 35 or run like a twin 50 back in like the early 90s, and those were always my favorite. Those were cool. You get a chance to bring home 2 trophies in one night and and ultimate bragging rights. So we're gonna wrap things up here in just a second, but appreciate everybody tuning in. Robert, what are you most looking forward to this weekend?
I'm looking forward to a huge field of late models, but in closing, I just want to give one more huge shout out to somebody that never gets seen behind the scenes. Our camera guy, Evan's going to be down this weekend working hard for us at 417 Southern Speedway. He's always behind the camera. He's always right on top of the action. You never get to see him, but just a huge shout out, because if he wasn't there, we wouldn't be able to bring you what we do.
How about you, Jen?
I'm so excited to be back at 417 this weekend. I want to see all of our racetracks packed. When you come to 417, if you've never been there, come this weekend, come hang out with us, come see us, introduce yourself, because we love meeting each and every one of you, and come watch the action in person.
Yep, it's going to be a lot of fun. We appreciate everybody tuning in again this week. Be sure to hit the like button there. Hit the share button. We'll be posting if there's any news coming out throughout the week. You know that we'll be sharing that with you and letting you know. But again, 7 o'clock Saturday night down at 417. We're going to be live here on Facebook. Super excited to get back down there again. Another one of these broadcasts, and we appreciate everybody that's been helping us and supporting us behind the scenes. And can't wait to get these T-shirts out there to everybody. So we've been hopefully everything's going to work out. And like I said, I'd love to sell through these things pretty quick and get that second order put together if we could. So appreciate everybody tuning in. So thanks again to Brandon doing everything behind the scenes with them running the 1s and 2s. So for Jennifer Brinson, for Robert Howell, I'm Jake Wilson. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on the Sunshine State Racing Weekly Recap Show.
Have a great week.